The U.S. Constitution was ratified in 1789. But as you know, that was not the first working government of the United States of America. The first working government of the United States of America was called the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation was a loose alliance of 13 states. The Founding Fathers had great fear of putting too much power into a central government, and you can see when we go through this that there were many more weaknesses than there were strengths. For strengths, the Articles of Confederation was pretty successful in creating territorial governments, particularly the Northwest Territory, and also admission of new states. It had the power to declare war and settle peace, to coin and borrow money when necessary, diplomacy with foreign countries and sign treaties, and created and operated the national post offices. However, the weaknesses were quite significant here. For example, the national government could not force the states to obey any of its laws. So laws passed for the entire country weren't necessarily going to be followed in each of the 13 different states. The national government didn't have the power to tax. This is a huge, huge weakness. After all, if a government doesn't have any money, it obviously can't afford to have a navy or an army or afford other programs. The Congress lacked strong and steady leadership. There was no national army or navy, as we pointed out with the no taxation. There was no system of national courts, so who was going to settle disputes between the different states? Each state could issue its own paper money, which caused a lot of confusion in the economy, and each state could put tariffs on trade between different states. You should know that a tariff is a tax on goods coming into a country, or imports, to be short. Because of the weaknesses in the Articles of Confederation, the 13 United States were very likely to become 13 separate countries, as shown by Shays' Rebellion and by infighting between the different states, and the lack of power that the central government had to handle these situations. Because of that, a constitutional convention was called in 1787 to revise the Articles of Confederation. They met in Philadelphia, but these representatives decided, instead of revising the Articles of Confederation, to scrap it and start over. When these representatives met in the summer of 1787, there was great confusion about what to do. However, there was one man that came with a plan. All 5'1" of him, James Madison was a brilliant man. He had studied governments far and wide, and he would become known as the father of the U.S. Constitution. He proposed a federal system whereby power would be dispersed between the central government and the states. This will be explained in the next lesson.